It was a cold night on planet Virex 9. Rain fell hard from the green sky. The streets were quiet. Only a few flying cars passed by. Most people were sleeping. But inside the alien hospital, something terrible was happening. A young girl was dying. She lay on a metal table in a dark room. Her body was covered in cuts and bruises. Her skin was not fully human, not fully alien. Her blood was a strange mix of colors. Machines beeped around her, showing her heart was slowing down. 3 alien doctors stood over her. One shook his head. "She's not healing. Her body is too damaged. We don't even know what she is. Half human," another doctor said. "The human part is weak. She won't survive." They didn't try to save her. Instead, they turned off the machines. They wrapped her in a silver blanket and carried her outside the back of the hospital. The rain hit her face. She was still breathing, but barely. They left her on the ground, next to the trash chute. "Let nature take her," the doctor said coldly. "She is not our problem." And they walked away. Hours passed. The rain didn't stop. Her chest moved up and down slowly. Her eyes didn't open. Her skin turned pale. No one came to help Dot until a man named Ben Carter walked down the alley. Ben was a human, one of the few living on this alien world. He worked as a machine repairman. He liked to fix broken things. He was smart, quiet, and didn't trust hospitals. He had seen how aliens treated humans like tools, or worse, like trash. Ben had just finished a late job fixing a power grid. He walked past the hospital and saw something near the trash. A foot, small, pale. He stopped. Then he ran. Ben bent down. His eyes went wide. "She's still alive," he whispered. "What the hell?" He touched her neck. Her skin was cold, but there was a pulse. Weak, but there. He looked at her face. She was young, maybe 17. Her eyes were closed. She had strange marks on her neck and arms, burns, or scars from machines. Ben looked around. "No cameras, no witnesses. Hang on, kid," he said. "You're not dying here, not like this." He picked her up and ran. Ben didn't take her to the hospital. He knew they were the ones who left her. They gave up. They didn't care what she was, but Ben did. She was alive, and that meant she had a chance. But who could help her? Then he remembered someone. An old friend. Across town, inside a small building with no signs, an alien woman was cleaning tools. She had 4 arms, silver, eyes, and a sharp mind. Her name was Dr. Lyra. She was not a doctor of people, but of animals. A vet. But Lyra had a secret. Sometimes she helped those who didn't belong anywhere. Hybrids, experiments, runaways. Ben banged on her door. "Lyra, open up." She opened, it frowning. Then she saw the girl in Ben's arms. "What is that?" she asked. "She's dying," Ben said. "They left her to die. I need your help." "I treat animals, Ben, not people." "They didn't treat her like a person either," he said. "Please." Lyra looked at the girl. Her eyes narrowed. Then she stepped aside. "Come in." Inside the clinic, Lyra moved fast. She cleared a table, checked the girl's heartbeat, and opened a special kit. "She's not fully human," she said. "What is she?" "I don't know. But she's breathing. That means she still has a chance." Lyra worked for hours. She used alien tech and human tools. She gave the girl strange fluids and cleaned her wounds. Ben helped when she asked, holding wires and calming the machines. Finally, the girl's heart was steady, her breathing stronger. Ben sat down, tired but hopeful. "Is she gonna make it?" Lyra wiped her hands. "Maybe, but she's not safe. Someone made her, and someone wanted her gone." Ben looked at the girl. She was sleeping now, peaceful, but her skin glowed faintly. Something was different about her, something powerful. "Whatever they did to her," Ben said, "they failed." "You think so?" Lyra asked. Ben nodded. "Yeah, because she's still here." Outside, lightning cracked the sky. Inside, a mystery had just begun. It began with a low growl. Not from an animal, but from the old power generator under the floor. The lights in the small vet clinic flickered. A dusty fan spun slowly in the corner. Bottles clinked on the shelves. The place smelled like medicine, oil, and something ancient. Dr. Lyra didn't look up. She was busy fixing a broken paw on a two-headed lizard. But then, she felt it. A strange vibration in the air. Like the weight of a secret walking through her door. A knock. Hard. Urgent. She sighed. No more late patients, she muttered. Another knock, louder this time. Lyra opened the door halfway. And froze. Ben Carter stood there, soaking wet, carrying something in his arms. Not a pet. Not an alien creature. A girl, half alien, half human, barely alive. I need your table, Ben said. Quickly, she's bleeding inside. Lyra didn't move. That's not a pet. She's not trash either, Ben snapped. They left her to die, in the street. Lyra's silver eyes narrowed. Then she stepped aside. Put her there. But if she dies here, no questions. Ben nodded, agreed. Inside the vet clinic, Lyra moved fast. Her forearms worked like machines, cleaning wounds, hooking wires, scanning her body. The girl didn't move. But her chest rose slowly. What are you? Lyra whispered. The scan showed strange things. Her blood was a mix of human plasma and alien cells. Her bones were reinforced. Her heartbeat pulsed like a machine but organic. Something inside her was not natural. She's not just a hybrid, Lyra said. She was built. Ben clenched his jaw. Then whoever built her didn't finish the job. Outside, thunder rolled again. In the distance, the sky turned red for a moment, lightning from the city shield grid. But in the dark alley behind the clinic, something small blinked. A key. Black drone. Watching. Recording. And transmitting. Back inside, the girl began to shake. Her body trembled like a power surge ran through her. One of the monitors exploded. Sparks flew. What was that? Ben shouted. Lyra stared at the data. Her body just rebooted. Like a system restart. Suddenly, the girl gasped, her eyes opened. Not human eyes. They were bright silver like Lyra's, but deeper. Older. She looked around in panic. Where am I? Safe, Ben said softly. You're safe now. She tried to sit up, but her body was weak. They left me. Tears formed in her strange eyes. Ben knelt beside her. Yes, but we didn't. Lyra gave her a warm drink. The girl sipped slowly. She didn't remember her name. Didn't know where she came from. All she could recall were bright lights, cold hands, and screaming. Ben gave her a name, Kale. Just for now, he said. Until you remember the real one. Kale nodded. Her voice was soft, shaky. Thank you for not leaving me. That night, Ben stayed in the clinic while Kale slept. He looked at the broken equipment, the strange blood results, the glowing marks on her skin. Lyra joined him, arms crossed. She's not natural, she said. Someone made her, maybe for war, maybe worse. Ben looked at Kale through the glass window. She's still human. That means she has a choice, Lyra frowned. They'll come looking. They always do. Ben stood up. Then we better be ready. Outside, the drone zoomed away into the storm. It had seen enough. And someone far away was already sending the hunters. The first thing she saw was light, not sunlight. A soft blue glow, strange and quiet, like the inside of a dream. Kale opened her eyes slowly. Her body felt heavy. Her arms ached. Her head was full of fog. She tried to move, but her muscles refused. Then she saw her reflection. A mirror hung on the clinic wall. She stared at the face looking back at her. It was her. But not the face she expected. Alien eyes. Thin glowing veins under her skin. A mark on her neck like a barcode. She didn't recognize herself, and she didn't remember who she was. Ben was in the next room, fixing a broken data pad. He looked up when he heard the bed creak. He rushed to her side. "Hey, easy. Don't push yourself." Cale blinked. "Who are you?" "Ben, I'm the one who found you. You were left outside a hospital, nearly dead." Her hands shook. "I don't remember anything." Dr. Lyra joined them, carrying a scanner. "Your body went through trauma. They erased parts of your brain on purpose. Your memories were taken." Cale closed her eyes. She saw flashes. A bright room, a mask over her face, cold voices, screams. She opened her eyes again, breathing hard. "They did something to me." "Yes," Lyra said. "And we still don't know what." Later that day, Cale sat alone on a chair, holding a cup of warm liquid. It smelled like herbs and metal. She took small sips. Ben watched her from across the room. She looked peaceful. But he knew better. Inside her, something was still waking. Up, that night, a cat-like alien creature in the clinic knocked over a light. Cale flinched. Her eyes flashed silver, and the light exploded into sparks. Ben and Lyra rushed in. "What was that?" Ben asked. Cale held her head. "I didn't mean to. It just happened." Lyra scanned her. "Her energy is rising. Some kind of internal reactor, organic, but powerful. A weapon?" Ben asked. Lyra didn't answer, but the silence spoke louder than words. Cale looked at her hands. "Why would someone build me this way? Who am I supposed to be?" Ben sat next to her. "You're not a machine. Not anymore. You're a person now. You get to choose." That same night, in a dark room on the other side of the city, a hooded figure watched a screen. A red dot blinked slowly. "She's alive," the figure said. Another voice answered through a speaker. "Then we failed. Send the retrieval unit. No witnesses." Back at the clinic, Cale tried to sleep, but her dreams were full of fire. Hands holding her down, needles, wires in her spine, and a voice, soft and cruel. "You were never meant to think. Only obey." She woke up screaming. Glass cracked beside her bed. Ben ran in. "It's okay," he said. "You're safe." But Cale shook her head. "No, I'm not, and neither are you." In the quiet after the storm, Lyra checked the lab. Scans again. She found something strange. Buried deep in Cale's brain was a signal chip, still active, still broadcasting, asterisk. The signal had never stopped. It was small like a whisper in space. But for the right ears. That whisper was a scream on the cold side of Virex 9. In a hidden control room deep underground, a screen blinked red. A tall alien in dark armor stepped forward. His eyes glowed blue. His name was Commander Korean, and he had only one job: destroy the mistakes. "She's active again," said a voice behind him. "Signal ID UNITY7. Still transmitting." Koran stared at the screen. She was terminated. She survived. A long silence. Then Koran spoke. "Then she must be erased. Again." Far across the city, in the small vet clinic, Cale sat on the floor. Her knees were pulled to her chest. The signal chip had been removed, but something still felt wrong, like someone was watching her. Ben stood nearby, arguing with Dr. Lyra. "We have to move her." That chip broadcasted her location for days. "Where will you take her, Ben?" Lyra asked. "She's not safe anywhere." Cale looked up. "They're coming, aren't they?" Lyra didn't answer, but Ben nodded. "Yes, and they're not coming to talk." That night, a shadow fell over the clinic. A silent ship hovered high above the clouds, black, invisible to radar. Inside were 5 armored hunters, cold, fast, trained to kill without questions. Each one had a list of targets. Cale's name was at the top. Meanwhile, Cale sat in Lyra's lab chair. She stared at the small metal chip Lyra had removed from her neck. It was no bigger than a fingernail. but it had nearly cost her life. I was never meant to be free, Cale whispered. Ben leaned on the wall, arms crossed. Doesn't matter what they wanted, you're free now. Cale looked at him. Then why do I feel like a bomb waiting to explode? Suddenly, boom, a blast shook the building. Lights flickered. Lyra looked at the screen. Perimeter breach. South wall. Ben grabbed his toolkit. They're early. Lyra opened a drawer and pulled out a long plasma injector. Not the first time someone's come here with guns. Cale stood up. Give me something to fight with. Ben stared at her. You don't even know who you are. But I know what I'm not, she said. I'm not helpless anymore. Outside, 2 hunters moved like ghosts through the fog. They spoke no words. Their scanners beeped once. Target. Locked dot inside, Cale felt a pressure in her chest. Her skin began to glow faintly. Ben stepped between her and the door. Let me do the talking. But there was no talking. The first hunter burst through the wall. Aiming straight at Cale, she raised her hands and the air bent around her. A pulse of energy blasted out, knocking the hunter back like a toy. Everyone froze. Cale stared at her hands. I didn't mean to do that. You'll have to mean it now, Lyra said. Reloading the injector. The fight lasted 5 minutes. That was enough. Cale moved like instinct had taken over. She dodged lasers. She broke one hunter's helmet with a shockwave from her palms. She screamed and the walls shook. Ben was stunned. She was powerful. Too powerful, but not out of control. Not yet. Only one hunter escaped. He crawled back to his ship. Bleeding, scared, his mask cracked. Before flying away, he whispered into his cum. UNITY-7 is active. Too strong. Too human. After the battle, the clinic was a mess. Smoke rose from broken walls. Cale stood in the center, eyes glowing, chest rising and falling. Ben walked up slowly. You okay? Cale looked at him. No, but I'm not dead. Lyra nodded. They'll be back, with more. Ben placed a hand on Cale's shoulder. Then we need to find them before they find us. Cale looked down at her glowing hands. And maybe find out what I really am. Asterisk, the smell of smoke still hung in the air. Broken glass crunched under Ben's boots as he stepped over a fallen cabinet. Lyra's clinic looked like a war zone, walls cracked. Tables burned. The ceiling leaked sparks. Cale stood in the center of it all. Her hands were glowing, not with fire, but with energy. Raw, alive, dangerous. Turn it off, Ben said. Calmly. Breathe, Cale. Cale closed her eyes. Her chest moved up and down, slowly. The light faded, the room dimmed, but something had changed. Not just the clinic. Cale. That night, in a dark cave far beyond the city limits, a group of hunters met in silence. One of them limped. Blood dripped from his leg. He dropped his broken helmet to the floor. We underestimated her, he said. She's not a weapon. She's a storm. Commander Corrine listened quietly. Then he spoke. Then we will crush the storm before it spreads. Back in the city, news spread fast. People whispered about a fight near the vet clinic. Strange lights, explosions. Some said it was a rogue alien weapon. Others said it was a ghost. No one knew the truth, but they all agreed on one thing. Something powerful was hiding in the city. And now, the city wanted it gone. Ben knew what that meant. They're going to lock down the district, he told Lyra. Check every human. Scan every building. If they find her here, it's over. Lyra nodded. Then she has to leave. Cale sat nearby listening. Leave? Where? Ben looked at her. Someplace off-grid. Old tunnels. Maybe the Black Ridge wastes. No scanners out there. Cale stood up slowly. I'm not scared for me, but you two. They'll come after you too. Ben smiled slightly. They always do. Before leaving, Lyra gave Cale a small device. This helps with power control. Wear it on your wrist. If you feel the energy building, press it. It'll hold it down. Kale nodded and strapped it on. Thank you for not giving up on me. Lyra looked at her and said something she hadn't said in years. Stay alive, girl. You're not done yet. Ben and Kale moved through. The night like shadows. The city had changed. Drones hovered above rooftops. Soldiers patrolled the streets. Hologram showed Kale's face with red letters. High-risk subject. Report immediately. Kale stared at the image. That's what I am now? Ben shook his head. No, that's what they're afraid you are. They reached the old transit. Tunnels by dawn. Dusty. Dark. Forgotten. The kind of place where secrets could sleep for years. Kale looked around. It's quiet down here. Ben checked a scanner. Too quiet. Suddenly, the scanner beeped once, then twice. We're not alone. Something moved in the dark, not soldiers, not hunters. Others. Kale saw shapes in the shadows, thin arms, glowing eyes, scared faces. Children, hybrids, runaways, like her. Hiding. Surviving. One of them stepped forward. A young boy with metal fingers. Are you UNITY-7? Kale hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but my name is Kale. The boy smiled. We thought you were dead. Ben looked around at the group. Dozens of them. All left behind. All forgotten. All waiting for someone to come back. You started something, he said to Kale. Whether you meant to or not. Kale looked at the scared, tired faces. Then I'll finish it. She turned to the others. No more hiding. They called us mistakes, but we're still here. Low cheer rose from the group, for the first time. They had hoped. High above in the alien government tower, Commander Corain watched a new report. Signal scans had picked up activity in the tunnels. Again. That same energy spike. He clenched his fist. If she survives much longer, others will rise. He turned to his squad. Prepare everything. We wiped the tunnels clean. Back in the darkness, Kale sat near a fire. Ben was fixing the battery pack beside her. She stared at her hands. They didn't scare her anymore. I used to wonder if I was real, she whispered. Or just something built in a lab. Ben looked up. You want to know what I think? Kale nodded. I think you were meant to die out there. But you didn't. That makes you real enough. Kale smiled, just a little, but it was enough. The desert was dead. No sound. No wind, just cracked stone, burning heat, and sand stretching forever. And yet, beneath the ground, something lived. A lab. Old, buried, forgotten by most, but not by her. Kale stood at the top of the ridge, staring at the ground below. Her skin was dusty. Her boots were torn, but her eyes were sharp now. She had remembered something, a dream? A flash, no doubt a location, burned deep into her mind. It's here, she whispered. Ben climbed up behind her, holding a broken scanner. There's nothing but sand out here. Kale shook her head, not on the surface. They walked down into the heat. Every step forward brought more memories. Not clear ones, just flashes, a long hallway. A woman in a white coat. The smell of burning metal, screams, her own. Kale's fists tightened. This place made me. Ben looked around. Then let's break it. After hours of searching, they found a hidden door under a flat stone. It looked like part of the earth, but Kale knew where to touch. Her hand glowed, and the rock shimmered away. Beneath it, a steel hatch. Ben stared. How did you know how to open that? Kale didn't answer. She didn't want to. They climbed down a rusted ladder. The lab was deep, maybe 50 meters underground. Lights flickered weakly. Power still ran through the walls. Old signs and alien writing marked each corridor. They walked past glass tubes, empty now. But once, they held things, some of them looked like her. Kale stopped in front of one shattered tube. Blood stains on the floor. This was mine, she said softly. Ben touched the edge of the glass. You escaped from here? Kale nodded. They hurt me. Broke me, but I got out. I made them think I was dead. Ben's voice was low. You were never supposed to get out, were you? No, Kale said. That's why they left me outside the hospital. Easier to let me die than admit I survived. Further inside, they found the main chamber. It looked like a temple of machines monitors. Wires, thick glass screens. Kale walked to the center console and placed her hand on it. The system came to life. A blue light scanned her face. Welcome back, Unity 7, said a cold mechanical voice. Access full memory logs. Kale ordered. Ben watched the screens change. Files opened. Pictures, videos, charts, words scrolled across the display. Project Unity, Human Core Hybrid, Purpose, Obedience, Purpose, Elimination, Status, Rejected. Kale's face didn't change, but her hands were shaking. They didn't just build me, she whispered. They tested others. I was the only one that lived. Ben stepped forward. Then they tried to throw you away like the rest. Kale opened another file. A video played. Her screaming inside a glass tube, wires in her arms. A scientist watching. Keep her unstable, said the voice in the recording. If she learns to control it, we lose her. Kale turned the screen off. Too late. Suddenly footsteps. Ben pulled out his plasma cutter. We're not alone. Out of the shadows stepped a tall figure in a lab coat, not a soldier, not a hunter, but the chief, scientist, still alive. Unity 7, she said, smiling. I knew you'd come back. Kale's eyes glowed. My name is Kale. The woman stepped forward. We gave you that body, that mind. You belong to us. Kale's voice was ice. You don't get to say that anymore. The woman snapped her fingers. From the walls, machines activated. Defense bots. Old, but deadly. Ben stepped in front of Kale. We're not running this time. Kale raised her hand and the entire lab shook. The lights exploded. Bots sparked and fell. Kale walked forward, her voice full of power now. You made me a weapon, but I'm choosing my own war. She faced the scientist, no fear in her eyes. This lab dies today. Then so do you, the woman said. Kale smiled. I already did. Asterisk fire rose behind her. The lab, the place where she was made, tested, and broken, was burning. Smoke filled the tunnels. Alarms screamed. Steel melted. Kale stood in the center, her arms glowing with raw energy. Her body was bruised, her face streaked with blood and ash, but she was still standing, and she was not alone. Ben limped beside her, holding a broken plasma cutter. His shirt was torn, but his eyes were steady. Lyra's voice crackled through his cum. Do you have her? She has us, Ben replied. Behind them, the chief scientist lay unconscious, pinned under fallen beams. Kale had spared her, not because she was weak, but because she wasn't like them. Not anymore. As the flames reached the ceiling, Kale looked back one last time. This was the place where she was told what to be. A tool, a weapon, a mistake. Now it would be a grave. They escaped through a side shaft just before the structure collapsed. Outside, the sun had risen. Real sun, real sky. Kale blinked against the light. This feels like freedom. Ben smiled. Because it is. They returned to the tunnels under the city. The hidden runaways, the hybrid, children and forgotten outcasts gathered around her. She was their myth, their ghost, their hope. But Kale didn't want to be worshipped. She wanted to fight. They called us errors, she told them. But we're not. We're living proof that they were wrong. What do we do now? One child asked. Kale looked at them. We stop running. That night, Kale made her choice. She stepped in front of a stolen broadcast tower. With Ben's help, they hacked the city's communication grid. Across every screen, every wall, every sky billboard, her face appeared. The aliens panicked. Security teams scrambled, but it was too late. My name is Kale. I was born in a lab made to follow orders, but I broke free, I lived. And now I speak for those who were never meant to speak. We are not tools, we are not threats, we are people. And we will not hide anymore. The city erupted with noise, some screamed, some cheered. But one thing was clear. The truth was out. And truth is hard to erase. In the high tower, Commander Corrine watched the broadcast in silence. He knew it was over. The fear had already started to shift. Not just fear of Kale, but fear of what else the people might uncover now. A day later, Kale stood at the edge of a cliff, looking over the black sands. Ben stood beside her, arms folded. You could leave now. Start over on another planet. Be free. Kale shook her head. Not until others like me are free too, Ben smiled. That's the most human thing I've ever heard. She looked at him. Funny, they tried to build a weapon, but they made a hero. Later, Kale visited the old clinic one last time. Lyra patched her up again and said nothing until the end. Then she handed Kale a small package. What is it? Kale asked. Proof, Lyra said. Your blood, your DNA, your choice. One day you'll need to remind them that you're not what they said you were. Kale nodded. Thank you for helping me become something more. As Kale walked into the rising sun, Ben followed, not as a protector, not as a builder, but as a friend, and behind them, the shadows of the lost began to move into the light. They left nothing behind but smoke, truth, and the wreckage of a lie. But they carried something greater forward, a story, a girl they threw away, man who refused to walk past her, and a future they built together.